A phone has finally landed that makes the Samsung Galaxy S3 look small, and it isn't made by Samsung. It isn't the Note 2, no, it's the Sony Xperia Z. This 5-inch monster, but beautiful monster, comes in with a full HD display. It's also weatherproof, and it's really going to challenge the Samsung Galaxy S3, which we've got in our right hand. Here's a video comparison of the two, kicking off with design, and in terms of how they feel in the hand, the Samsung Galaxy S3 feels a little bit more comfortable because it's so curvaceous, but undeniably the winner of this round has to be, without a shadow of a doubt, the Sony Xperia Z. That glass front and back is beautiful. You've also got this really nice 9mm slenderness coupled with weatherproofing, so it's water resistant and dust resistant. One irksome quality about the phone is the fact that all the ports are under flaps. So on the left hand side of the Samsung Galaxy S3 you've got a volume rocker, on the left hand side of the Sony Xperia Z you've got a micro SD card slot, you've got a 3.5mm headphone jack at the top of both. On the right hand side is a power button on both. On the Xperia Z is also a volume rocker, as well as a micro SIM tray and a micro SD card slot. On the base of both devices, of the X3 is the micro USB port, with nothing on the back of the Xperia Z. On the reverse of both devices, the cameras: 13 megapixel on the Xperia Z, 8 megapixel on the on the Samsung Galaxy S3. Flipping open the back cover on the Samsung Galaxy S3, you have a micro SIM card tray and a micro SD card slot, as well as a 2100 milliamp battery, which is gorgeous. And you know what? That's unfortunately the same capacity battery that's found in the Sony Xperia Z. And the Sony Xperia Z's battery is our real pain point, and we're going to tell you why in a minute. But for now, we're just going to carry on talking about the design. Moving on to the display. 5 inches against 4.8 inches. There's not really all that much in the size. However, the resolution of the Sony Xperia Z is just astounding. Given the fact that the Samsung Galaxy S3 uses pentile technology, it's noticeably less sharp than the Xperia Z. And all in all, everything about the Xperia Z is just way more premium screen-wise, aside from maybe the depth of the blacks and the vibrancy of the colors. Although we're not going to lie, the Sony Mobile Bravia Engine 2 makes colors look absolutely beaming. As far as other elements go, the Sony Xperia Z screen is larger, and the body isn't quite so ergonomic. There's no curvaceousness, so it is a little bit harder to reach from across far ends of the display. However, with minimal bezeling, it's a beautiful phone. All in all, both phones are pretty great in terms of screen. Moving on to the user interface, and both have Android 4.1, that's Jelly Bean. However, neither have the newest 4.2 version. Android 4.1 has been customized with TouchWiz on the Samsung Galaxy S3 and with Sony's own UI on the Xperia Z. Both have a variable number of home screens, both have custom widgets, and both are pretty heavy. The Sony Xperia Z is maybe a little bit more preferable in terms of user interface aesthetic. The Samsung Galaxy S3 certainly does look okay, but it functions extremely well. Both have pull-down notifications bars, quick settings up top, with the Samsung Galaxy S3's being more comprehensive, and both have apps trays that can be arranged in a number of ways. So with both being so customizable, both packing Android, they have access to Google services like the Google Play Store, etc. They also have Google Magazines, Google Books, and Samsung and Sony's own services on board. Again, quite comparable. Perhaps the real way the Samsung Galaxy S3 stands out is because it has smart gestures, which enable you to do things like put the phone to your ear in order to make a call when highlighting a contact. That said, with the Sony being weatherproof, they both have their strengths. As far as cameras go, the Sony Xperia Z's 13 megapixel camera battles it out with an 8 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy S3. Real world use, both are actually very comparable. The UI of the Sony Xperia Z in the automatic mode is more intelligent, it's smarter, and it's definitely going to win out for people who want the camera to do everything for them. We really love the user interface on the Samsung Galaxy S3 though, just because of how customizable it is. So you can, for example, you only have one camera UI to start off with, and you can add a whole load of elements onto it. Sony Xperia Z, a little bit more comprehensive. You've got a whole load of camera options, including a burst mode of 10 frames per second. The burst mode is ridiculously noisy. That's because the Sony Xperia Z processes images and processes a lot of the noise out of them. However, again, in terms of real-world use, both are fantastic camera phones. Maybe the Sony Xperia Z edging ever so slightly ahead. Moving on to processors, both quad-core powered devices, 1.5 GHz in the Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 powered Sony Xperia Z, the Exynos 4 processor inside the Samsung Galaxy S3, also extremely powerful. Neither will really leave you wanting. The Full HD display on the Sony Xperia Z is going to put more pressure on that processor, and that will probably weigh down on battery life, but we certainly don't see it in terms of lag. As far as memory goes, 16 gigabytes on board both, microSD expandability on both, so very, very comparable again. With the final element being battery life, and the Sony Xperia Z just really falls short in this department. Too few milliamps mean this Full HD display saps them dry. There is a power saver mode called Sony Stamina Mode to help with this, however unfortunately it isn't quite enough to rival the Samsung Galaxy S3. The Sony Xperia Z does however ship with a beautiful dock, which enables you to charge it at your desk. So if you do work at a desk that you can have that port plugged into a wall, you can very, very comfortably last a full day. So it's been a quick comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S3 and the Sony Xperia Z. If you have questions, please feel free to fire them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. I've been Basil, this has been Know Your Mobile. Have a great day.